Okay, Joe, we're live, so go ahead and get us started here.
We are live. Thank you, Rebecca, for announcing the show is on. So terrific. So, good afternoon, everyone. In the spirit of the Tokyo Olympics, konnichiwa. I am Joe Garbanzos. I'm the ARP California State President. It's a volunteer position. And today we have the good fortune of having Rebecca Lockhart. She is with the Federal Communications Commission, FCC. And she's here to discuss with us, share more information about the Emergency Broadband Benefit, a government program that will provide subsidy to eligible beneficiaries so they can take advantage of more affordable broadband connectivity. She's the right person for that. And so thank you for joining us, Rebecca. We encourage those who are here live to share this streaming now with your own social media network. And for my friends in San Diego region who have done a terrific job in promoting this program, thank you for sharing this live stream event with your network. And please feel free to provide comments or questions on chat, and we will entertain those comments and questions at the later part of our conversation. So that is setting the stage. And now I would like to engage Rebecca with FCC on a conversation around the program. First, Rebecca, thank you for sending the warm and humid weather from Washington, D.C. to this part of California. Thank you very much. Before we dive deeper into the program, tell us more about yourself and what do you do in the Federal Communications Commission, or FCC?
Well, thank you, Joe. Thank you so much for having me, and thanks for all the work that AARP is doing to promote the EBB in California. I work in our Consumer and Governmental Affairs Bureau at the FCC. So the FCC is the agency that writes and enforces telecommunications law. And my office, I do outreach, and we work to inform consumers and educate them on all the work the FCC does, including this benefit program that we're going to discuss today.
Terrific. So the program that you'll be describing and sharing more information is so timely, right? The pandemic has shown us that without broadband, high-speed internet access, you'll be left out in so many ways. Telehealth is essentially virtual nowadays, and education too, as well as social connections. So broadband connectivity is not a luxury. It is a necessity, right? One may even argue that it is like a utility, just like gas or electric. So many Californians are challenged when it comes to high-speed internet or broadband connectivity where they live, and holds them back in terms of affordable and reliable access. That's why at ARP we lend a voice to these communities. And they are in rural areas, some areas that are highly vulnerable or incumbent. Monopolies like cable companies might not be able to provide affordability and reliability of access. In our tribal communities too, that is a problem. So tell us more about the Emergency Broadband Benefit. How will it help Americans in general, and specifically Californians, gain access to affordable high-speed internet during the pandemic and even after that? Because I don't think that things will change as far as the necessity of having broadband connectivity.
Well, the Emergency Broadband Benefit, which I'm going to refer to just as the EBB, because that's a lot easier to say when you're saying it so much, it was put in place in response to the COVID-19 pandemic to help families and households who are struggling to afford internet services, because we also recognize the importance of broadband and the necessity of it, not just for telemedicine and education, as you mentioned, but to help people not feel isolated in their homes during the pandemic, and also to maintain or receive employment. I know we've been working virtually this entire time, and without broadband, we wouldn't be able to talk to you right now. So what the EBB is a monthly benefit for broadband service. So households that qualify may receive up to $50 per month on their broadband service bill. Those who live on tribal lands may receive an enhanced benefit of up to $75 per month on their broadband service bill. And some broadband providers are also offering $100 off a laptop, desktop computer, or tablet that you purchase through them to receive their service. So that's just a quick explanation of what the program is.
Thank you, Rebecca. So it gives us a good outline as to what the program scope is all about. Share with us the qualifications. Who is qualified for EBB?
So there's a number of ways that you can determine your eligibility for the program. A couple of them are if you have received a Pell Grant in the current award year, if you have a child in your home that qualifies for free or reduced school lunch programs, if you qualify for other federal benefit programs such as SNAP, Lifeline, SSI, Medicaid, just to name a few. You don't have to already be enrolled, but if you know you meet the qualifications for those, then you also meet the eligibility requirements for EBB. A couple other eligibility requirements are if you experienced a loss of income or were laid off, or just, maybe your hours were cut at work and you are receiving less money and you meet a certain income threshold after February 29th, 2020. That would be a qualifying eligibility requirement. And then also some providers already have low-income programs for their customers, whether they were in response to COVID-19 or just general programs that you have. If you're already enrolled in one of your providers' programs, then you would also qualify for EBB.
Good information, Rebecca. So describe the process, and specifically, I think what people would like to hear is how long does it take to get approved? A, B, will they get a check in the mail, if you will?
So the benefit is a credit onto your broadband service bill. Consumers or customers won't receive any kind of check in the mail or direct money to them, but they will see a credit on their bill for their broadband service. And I will describe the ways to apply. There's 3 options, but I just want to let you know up front that whatever option you choose, you do need to contact your provider to enroll in EBB. So you can do the whole process through your provider where they walk you through all the steps and gather all the information, including your eligibility requirements, or you can apply either online or by mail through USAC. And their website, the main portal for their application is getemergencybroadband.org. So you can go there and fill out the online application yourself. You would need to attach any documentation they ask for to prove your eligibility and your identity, or you can print a copy of the application from that page and mail it in to the address they have listed there. So in terms of how long it takes, it really just depends on which option you choose. So it might take a little bit longer if you mail it in, obviously, than when you do it online, because some applications you get an instant notification once you have filled everything out and everything is complete. As long as you're not missing anything and you are eligible, you might get that notification right away once you fill everything out. But if you're missing something, you can always go back and add it. And then if you mail in your application, they'll notify you once they have reviewed it and let you know. But again, once you receive that notice of eligibility, you need to go back to your provider. And that could be a provider that you're using currently, or it could be a new provider that you don't have service with. You might want to switch providers. Or if you don't have service at all, you can go to a new provider and sign up for service, as long as they're participating in the EBB.
Thank you. Good to know, Rebecca. So a kind of a definition question. When we refer to provider, these are local cable companies providing internet services, right?
Correct. So it would be whoever you're receiving your broadband internet service from. And you can find a list of providers by state. So our website, www.fcc.gov/broadband-benefit, has a link to providers by state. So you can go there, and if you're in California, like ARP here, you can click California. You can go through all the providers that are participating in the program. And there's also a column that indicates whether the provider is also offering the second part of that discount I mentioned, or second part of the benefit I mentioned, which is that device discount. There will be a check mark to show if they are offering that.
Terrific. So, an opinion, I think my local cable company here should promote that in addition to what we're doing. To complement what Rebecca is describing, we're going to share with you now a vignette, a video that provides additional information. And as a reminder, please feel free to type in your comments and questions on the chat. We'll be happy to entertain them in the second half of our conversation. Thank you.
There are nearly 22 million older Americans aged 65 and over who do not have wireline internet at home and are missing out on essential services like telehealth and doctor appointments and connecting with family and friends. The good news? In response to COVID-19, the government created the Emergency Broadband Benefit to provide relief in the form of a discount up to $50 per month towards broadband service for eligible households. But the funding is limited. Text Internet to 22777 or visit aarp.org/EBB to find out if you or someone you care about qualify and learn how to sign up for this new program.
Thank you for sharing that video. Just wanted to acknowledge the people in the background who are doing a terrific job supporting our conversation this afternoon. Shay at ARP California is doing communications, and Strat, who is a project manager for this program. So thank you. So Rebecca, amplify the information around funding. It's not open-ended. It's limited based on what Congress has allocated. Can you talk more about that, please?
Yes, sure. Congress allocated $3.2 billion for this program. So once that money is distributed and given out, that is when the program ends. Either that or when the Department of Health and Human Services declares an end to the pandemic as a public health emergency. It would be 6 months after that declaration, or whenever the funding runs out, whichever one of those comes first. But the good news is there is a lot of funding still left in the program, and there is a USAC tracker that we will put a link to in the chat here that you can go on and see how much funding is still remaining in the pot, shall you say, to be given out. So it's still over $3.1 billion. So hopefully a lot more people will continue to sign up and take advantage of this benefit.
Terrific. So don't miss out. The money is still there. And so by all means, feel free to apply and take advantage of the program. We touched on how the subsidy will be given to eligible beneficiaries. There's no check coming, similar to a stimulus package. This will be applied as part of your subscription fee, right, Rebecca?
Correct. So it will appear as a credit onto your bill, and it's up to the provider as to when it'll kick in. So you may receive your, once you receive your eligibility notification and then you go to your provider and enroll, it might take a billing cycle or two to kick in and show up on your bill. So the best way to see when that'll happen and ask any questions about that would be to contact your provider directly. And I just want to also let people know you will have to provide a bit of personal information when you're signing up for this benefit. So you want to be really careful that you're contacting your provider at a legitimate contact number. So make sure you're calling a number that you have either on one of your bills or or their official website. And make sure you don't give out any personal information to any incoming calls. And that goes for anything, because these scammers out here are always following the trends in the news. So we just want to make sure that no one gets scammed in the process of trying to sign up for EBB, and that, you know, no one falls a victim to these scam calls.
That's a very good reminder, Rebecca. You know, the availability of information online has a downside, right, in terms of fraud and scams. So make a note of that. The other question that we covered that might be worth reinforcing is broadband services at the community level will be the provider. Does that include a cellular provider as well, Rebecca?
Yes. So the benefit could be applied to either fixed or mobile broadband. So if it's applied to your mobile broadband, it would just go towards that portion of your bill. It wouldn't cover any phone call costs or texting, but just solely the broadband service would be and can be covered with this benefit if you qualify.
Terrific. So I'm reading the chat questions, and I think we anticipated that question because it just showed up. So great minds think alike. It's terrific. So can you qualify for EBB if there are other people in your household? So is eligibility based on number of people in the household, or is it a unit?
Oh, I'm glad someone asked that question. So it is applied per household. So as long as one member of the household is eligible, that whole household can receive the benefit. However, if you and your roommate are not one economic unit, so a household is one economic unit, and that just means that you contribute to the same bills. So there could be more than one household per address, so to speak. But if you are, you and your roommate are sharing the bills and you are one household, then you could receive the benefit that way. You would just, when you fill out the application process and go through the online application, however you choose to apply, you also do what is called a household worksheet. So it could be the case that you and your roommate are one household and you qualify together, or you could be separate households if you're not sharing the bills and are considered separate households, and you would just need to fill out separate applications that way. So hopefully that answers that question.
Yeah, that is a good clarifying answer, because we have multiple people in one household. So I think you're able to provide some direction there. You also touched on another program, but may run parallel with EBB, and that's the Lifeline program. Can you talk a little bit about that, Rebecca? And does it compete? Meaning to say, if you're a Lifeline eligible beneficiary, does that mean you're not eligible for EBB?
No, they're two separate programs, and the good news is that you can receive them both at the same time. So if you qualify for Lifeline and you're already enrolled, then you qualify for EBB as well. You're not automatically enrolled, so you still need to go through the application process and enroll with your provider. But just to say a little bit more about Lifeline, that's a separate federal program that offers a monthly discount that could be applied to your home, mobile phone, your home phone, your mobile phone, or your high-speed internet cost. So that's a separate federal program offering a monthly discount as well, and you can receive both at the same time.
That's good information to know. And Lifeline has no sunset, meaning to say it's ongoing. It keeps on giving as long as you're eligible, right? Rebecca, you want to touch on that as well?
Yes, that's a permanent federal program. I believe there is a I think you have to reapply yearly on a yearly basis to stay enrolled in Lifeline. But to find out more information, you can, of course, go to USAC. And we encourage people to apply to that too, because that's an ongoing federal program that has funding there that is available to offer relief for people.
Thank you, Rebecca. Share with us the efforts that your agency is doing in terms of outreach and education, right? Some of the information, although important information, gets lost in the translation, so to speak, because we have diverse communities where communication can be a challenge. Can you share with us what your agency is doing to enable diverse communities with cultural differences and communication not left out in the outreach and education?
Yes, absolutely. Well, first of all, we rely on partners like you at AARP. So thanks again for having us and helping to promote the program. We also have what is called our Outreach Toolkit, which is a website we created that has a bunch of different resources. And our fact sheets on there are translated into several languages. There's also social media images, downloadable flyers that are free to use that you can print and share with your communities. There is an American Sign Language video that has an overview of the program as well as instructions on how to apply. There's free audio PSAs. So we created a number of different types of outreach material that is free to use for our partners, and we are very thankful for everyone who shares this information and gets the word out. So the fact sheet is in several languages other than English, but just to let you know, the online application on USAC's website is only in English and Spanish. However, they do have translators available on their help center line that are able to assist anyone who speaks any other language, as well as anyone who may have a disability. They can call that number and get assistance with filling out the application.
Thank you, Rebecca. So we have a couple of Lifeline-related questions. We open up, I think, an opportunity here to address some of these questions. One is maybe an eligibility, maybe an application question. If the landline account is under another name and the internet is a separate account, is there an issue in terms of eligibility there? That's one question. I'm going to follow up after your answer.
So I'm assuming this is about EBB. Can you still qualify if your landline is under your father's name and the internet is under my name? So if you can prove that you are both considered one economic unit in one household, you would qualify that way, because it is just one member of the household that needs to qualify to receive the benefit. So the best way to handle this is to make sure you fill out that household worksheet to indicate your specific situation.
Terrific. That, I think, is a good way to distinguish it. And I encourage you all to post your questions, Lifeline or EBB related. Take advantage of Rebecca's presence here this afternoon. The other question that came up through chat, does Lifeline have a higher income cutoff?
I am not an expert on Lifeline, but I do know that for EBB, it was a bit of a broader scope, if you will, for people who can be eligible. So I'm not familiar with the exact income requirements for Lifeline, but if you qualify for Lifeline, you qualify for EBB.
Okay.
I don't know the exact Lifeline income.
So maybe as part of resource that we can provide at ARP, we can provide that information as well. It has something to do with, I think, your income tax kind of bracket that may lend qualification. So terrific question. Any other information, Rebecca, that we may not have asked that you think is pertinent and important around the value of the program, making sure that those who are eligible are taking full advantage of it?
Well, I really just encourage everyone to apply and to spread the word about this program with your loved ones, because sometimes you may think, oh, I don't qualify for a benefit program. I'm not going to be able to qualify for this one. But as the last question kind of points to, there are different eligibility requirements for this program because we're trying to be as inclusive as we can, because we understand how much people are struggling and how important broadband is. So just encourage everyone to apply at getemergencybroadband.org. And we also encourage everyone to visit our site, which is fcc.gov/broadband benefit, to answer any questions you may have about the program.
Thank you, Rebecca. And we here at ARP are delighted to be collaborating with you in ensuring that the information gets out. But as I say that, there are many other government agencies at the community level who are kind of the portal entry for many folks that we are trying to reach out. I think it would be a good idea to collaborate with them as well, state as well as community agencies who are touching the different communities that we're trying to serve.
Yes, and we do partner with several other federal agencies, as well as consumer advocacy groups at the grassroots level, state's attorneys. So we try to reach out and partner with as many different partners as we can to get the word out, not just about EBB, but all of our consumer issues, because it's important to have community partners, because a lot of people come to you all and trust you as a source for information. So again, I just want to thank you, Joe, and AARP, as well as Shay and Strat, who helped set this meeting up. It's been fun talking to you, Joe.
It's our pleasure. So we are a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization. We serve about 33 million members, plus our volunteers nationwide. Here in California, about 3 million. In San Diego region, we have a big following. So it's a pleasure to be part of this effort, and anything we can do to increase awareness and making sure that the right eligible beneficiaries are taking advantage of the program, by all means, let us know. So last call for any questions or comments. If not, I'm going to turn this back to Strat and Shay to close us up. It's been a pleasure. Rebecca, thank you.
Thank you. And it was 97 degrees yesterday. I don't know if you experienced that there in California, but I think we reached our record high heat of summer yesterday.
Wow. Yeah. So